Good evening and welcome back to Beyond the Deal. Let me be honest with you right now from start. If you're expecting this episode to be filled with numbers, charts, economic hypotheses, or percentages, that's not going to happen today. If that's what you're here for, I still truly appreciate you tuning in, and I promise I'll have an episode like what you're expecting very soon. But before you possibly leave, allow me to ask you something. Just hear me out. What is all that stuff really worth? What are numbers, predictions, best and worst case scenarios even good for? What is wealth worth if you're not even alive to enjoy it? What's the point of talking about any of that if we don't first try to understand ourselves a little better and dive into what life actually means to each one of us? The truth is, if we don't stop for a moment and reflect on it, on life, on our essence, on how we interpret our reality, then maybe, just maybe, the thing we believe will make us happy tomorrow is nothing more than something we picked up by habit, by influence, by imitation. And that's it. Sad, isn't it? And maybe we will end up disappointing ourselves in the future when we realize that what once was a desire didn't bring us the fulfillment we imagined it would. Maybe it's because we didn't spend enough time reading ourselves. I'm not talking about listening to what our brain was shouting. I'm talking about what our soul was quietly whispering in this life. This is the exact time and place where, by some mysterious joy, we've had the chance to meet. And when I say in this life, I mean that literally. Because who knows what our role was in past lives or will be in the next ones. And no, I'm not crazy for saying that. I speak about past and future lives as real things. And if this topic intrigues you even a little, I recommend the book Supraconsciousness Exists Life After Life by Dr. Manuel Sanz Segarra. Today's episode doesn't have numbers, but it's a real program. Let's get started. We live in a society that's so hard to understand that a selfie with a dog can go more viral than a heartfelt hi mom on social media. We live in a society where we never stop to ask what kind of emptiness we're really trying to fill by dreaming of owning a Ferrari. What need could that toy possible satisfy? And yet, we still dream of it. We live in a society where meaningless things are getting more and more stupidly meaningless. And still, in silence, we crave them. We live in a society where the supreme silence of our own conscious seems to have been programmed to last forever, and where the freedom of our mind has been killed, even if it doesn't seem that way. We're left with no real alternatives, inevitably and involuntarily, but to work, to watch, to copy, to float our thoughts with dreams that aren't even ours, and to repeat that cycle again and again and again. Who knows why? We live in a society where betrayal seems like an inseparable part of the fun, where self-love is so controversial that it feels great to post about pride and moral superiority, and then sleep with 100 more souls. It's their life, it's their choice, and I'm not here to judge. But why normalize it? We live in a society where training your muscles is priority, where people chase volume, then inflate their lips with ego, with bottles, and God knows what else. But it's not a priority to ask what's hiding behind all that superficiality. And maybe, in many of those cases, the muscle, the lips, aren't born from authenticity, but from the constant obsession we have with watching and imitating. To you who lives in this society, think about what your role in life really is. What does your conscience say about you? Look into your heart. Search for that energy, that one vital force that keeps you going and going. The path to find it is not easy. It's not easy at all. It takes time, brutal honesty, and maturity. It can hurt, but it's worth it. Ask yourself questions, challenge yourself. Think only about who you are, why you're here, and what you really need to fulfill your mission in this life. Be genuine. Be genuine with yourself and answer only to you, not to the crowd, not to the noise. Open your personal vault. Take a long look at all those gold bars made of other people's dreams. Appreciate them because they belong to someone else. But then, let them go. And yes, it will hurt because not being part of the majority often hurts. But just like the saying goes, cry today if you must, then take a deep breath and let it all be for a tomorrow that inspires. A tomorrow that is yours, honest, real, not a version of life built on self-deception. And when you're lying on your final bed in this lifetime, I promise you this. The only thing you will never regret are those tiny, beautiful pieces of you. The dreams that no one else dared to dream, but you did. Society is overwhelming. Trends are overwhelming. Our brain is even more overwhelming. In fact, society is the way it is because of one simple thing: the human inability to fight against comfort. And I honestly don't think this is just a personal issue. I believe it's an evolutionary way. Humans lean toward whatever is easier, whatever consumes less energy. And that, right there, is the greatest betrayal of self. Comfort makes us part of the herd that thinks it's free, but it's absolutely, undeniably controlled. And that control I'm talking about has nothing to do with financial freedom or that rat race or those trendy concepts we are always comparing ourselves to. When I say herd, I'm talking about the molded mindset, the rigid, blind way of thinking that's shaping the society we live in today. Let me propose a little experiment right now. Though I already know it will only resonate with about 10% of the people watching this video. Why? Well, because we've been shaped or taught to believe only what we see and to never really learn from someone else's experience unless we feel the pain ourselves. So let's go ahead. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You've just been told that tomorrow is your last day in this life. Keep in mind or even write down the very first thoughts that came to you when you pictured that scenario. Now, ask yourself, would I feel satisfied with the life I've lived? What would still be unfinished? Now, take it a step further. Visualize it as if it were really happening right now. In that moment, do you see anyone by your side? Who would be there with you if this was real now? And if someone did come to mind, think about how satisfied or unsatisfied you are with the love you're giving them and the actions you've taken toward that person. Now open your eyes. Breathe. If you answered each of those from the heart without letting intrusive or external thoughts cloud your mind, I want to encourage you to hold on tight to those first things and first thoughts. Go back then. Fix what needs to be fixed, whether it's something spiritual or something material. When you reflected on whether you would feel satisfied with your life, was there something that you didn't let you live in peace? And what about the person that showed it up in your mind when you imagined your final moment? Here's what I want you to do with this. First, don't wait. Tell them you love them. When this program ends, or even right now if they're next to you. Then, ask yourself honestly, have I fulfilled this person spiritually? Have I truly responded to their love? If the answer is no, then begin today. Start with an I love you. And don't stop until you finish that spiritual checklist. And please, do it now. Because this life, this one where you and I have somehow crossed paths, it's fleeting, it's fragile, it's unpredictable, and you don't want to find yourself in a real version of that scenario we just imagined, with the exact same regrets you just discovered in this little experiment. Let's stop being part of this new reality, this world of appearances and superficiality. Let's be more real, more flesh and bone, a little more spiritual. And if you, the one watching right now, happen to be one of the few standing outside those invisible yet permanent borders of society, then help the one next to you. Because you might just be the soul they remember to mourn in their final moment. The one who saved their lives. This is Beyond the Deal. And yeah, today's episode wasn't your typical one. But I truly hope it touched you as deeply as it touched me while I was writing each of those words. Be less like others. Be more like you. Be happy. I'll see you next week.